Update: my sister-in-law just married my childhood bully. At their wedding, he gave a speech and took a jab at me, completely clueless that Ellen, the CEO of his company. The moment I invited him to my office the next day was unforgettable. Part 3. I deliberately didn't send him an invitation, he said, looking displeased. It seems Daniel made sure that Michael and I didn't receive an invitation. This woman grew up with just her mother. When things get tough, she runs away. That must have caused financial hardship. Now, she's found a man from a wealthy family, thinking she can live a carefree life. She's a dreamy woman who can't see reality. Daniel accused me without knowing anything about my past. Michael, sitting next to me, clenched his fist in anger. I gently told him to calm down. Daniel continued with his false accusations. I hold an important position at a well-known tea company. If I marry Emily, are you planning to use your position as my sister-in-law to take money from me? His friends were shocked and started talking amongst themselves. They seemed to share Daniel's narrow perspective. I approached a nearby staff member and asked for the microphone. Daniel smirked, perhaps expecting me to say something emotional. I responded calmly, "It's ridiculous that someone who can't even remember the face of the president of their own company dares to call themselves an elite. Think carefully. If you intend to meet me, I'll be waiting in the president's office tomorrow, and we'll proceed with the necessary procedures." After saying that, I handed the microphone back to the staff and confidently returned to my seat. Michael stood up and headed toward the exit. Soon after, Emily started to walk in the same direction. Noticing this, Daniel called out to her, "Wait a minute. Why are you going that way too? I'm just trying to break things off with her. If that's the case, there shouldn't be any problems, right?" Daniel, still not fully understanding the situation, spoke to Emily. She gave him a cold look and said, "You really don't know Sandra. She's the CEO of the tea company. I have deep respect and admiration for my sister Sandra. I can't forgive you for belittling her. I'm breaking off this engagement right now. You've ruined such an important day in our lives. Be prepared." Shocked by Emily's stern words, Daniel was completely taken aback. Sandra decided to talk to the venue staff and remove her wedding dress. She informed the guests that the banquet would be canceled and the wedding would be changed to a simple meal gathering, making it clear that this kind of behavior would not be tolerated again. She firmly blamed Daniel for the breakup of the engagement. The ordeal wasn't over yet. The next day, as I had warned him, I calmly waited for Daniel's arrival in the president's office. Beside me stood two large, muscular employees, ready to step in if necessary. When Daniel arrived, he seemed confident at first, but that soon changed. He entered the president's office without permission and sat down without greeting anyone, which was quite rude. "No way. I can't believe you're really the president. This is unbelievable," he said. "If you had done any research, you would have found my information on our company's website," I replied. "Didn't you check before coming here?" It seemed he didn't take my words seriously and didn't bother to find out the truth. He probably thought I was joking or exaggerating. I told him, "I am thinking of terminating your employment contract." "What are you thinking? It's not fair to make such a decision over a slight misunderstanding," he said. "I will consult with the Labor Standards Inspection Office." As he tried to persuade me, I calmly placed a copy of his resume in front of him. "You have falsified your educational background, haven't you? You've claimed to have qualifications and skills you don't actually have, like proficiency in Excel and video editing. Are these statements true?" About that part, he started, clearly caught off guard. "Falsifying information and making false claims are legitimate reasons for us to terminate your employment," I said directly. He looked shocked at my statement. From the moment I met him, I had a strange feeling about him. I later verified the facts. Our company doesn't usually use headhunting methods, and even if we do, I would meet and interview the recommended candidates directly. I had no memory of having a deep conversation with Daniel. He actually joined our company through the regular recruitment process for mid-career hires and started as a regular employee. He called himself someone aiming for promotion and claimed to be proficient in software, but he had no skills in using them, so he was never promoted. He had a high opinion of himself, and I investigated his attitude thoroughly. Even during work hours, he was lazy, just enjoying being part of the company. I had no intention of tolerating such behavior. Now with his engagement to Emily officially ended, and since he continued to behave unpleasantly, I saw no reason to keep him around. I told Daniel to leave the company immediately. Since he had been with us for less than 6 months, there was no need to consider severance pay or the handover of duties. "As an old friend, won't you help me out?" he pleaded. "I see no reason to continue our relationship," I replied, arranging for other staff to handle his departure from the company. It seemed he was hoping for financial support from his father, but since his father had cut off support due to Daniel's behavior, that didn't happen. There was an incident in the past where my mother sued for defamation, and it seems Daniel's mother was involved. My father had paid the compensation back then, so he was familiar with such situations. Faced with a similar situation with Daniel, his father probably felt he had reached his limit and disappeared from their lives. After that, Daniel spent his days taking care of his elderly mother while dealing with the financial consequences of his actions. Eventually, he disappeared, taken away by some mysterious people in black, and no one knows where he is now. Someone might know what happened to him, but I have no intention of finding out. On the other hand, Emily was initially deeply hurt when she found out about Daniel's background. However, time heals all wounds. About 6 months have passed, and she now believes it was for the best that they didn't get married. Recently, she started smiling again and has even participated in events to find a new partner. Seeing Emily happy and living a brighter life again, Michael and I are truly relieved. Now follow us for more stories.